This video I wanted to share a few tips that will help you avoid having your front hook getting fouled up on your leader line when using either hard topwater baits or hard twitch baits, suspending jerk baits, anything like that. This seems to be a very popular issue when you're using inline hooks just because of how big the hooks are. They tend to get fouled up on your leader line, so I want to share some tips to help avoid that. So one of the first things you can do is just change out that front hook with a smaller hook. So for example, if you have a 2/0 hook up front, you can possibly switch it out with a 1/0 hook. Now, it's very rare that I get a fish hooked on that front hook anyway, so you could just bump down the size to a smaller hook. That way you can avoid that hook coming into contact with your leader line. And most of the time, like I said, most fish are going to get hooked by that back hook, and then that second hook might come into play as a secondary hook that will hook into that fish. But it's always going to be better to at least have some type of hook up front just to increase the chances of hooking into a fish. And as you can see, these are owner replacement hooks. These are 2/0s that I have on this bait. This is a Rapala Skitterwalk in the gold, black and gold color. And you can see that 1/0 really just has a shorter shank as opposed to a smaller gap. So it's really not that big of a difference, but just that little difference will help keep you from getting snagged up on your leader line. Now next is to really consider what's going on at the attachment point on your lure. Now if you have a split ring on there, I highly recommend taking the split ring off, because what that's going to do is whenever your lure comes to rest, your line is going to hang down in the water. So as your line starts sinking, it's going to hang down, and then when you start twitching that lure, it could possibly, grab that line. So make sure, if you do have a split ring on there, I prefer to take them off. And also, if you are getting snagged up a lot, I would just recommend doing a knot that is snug to the eye of the lure, because as you can see there, that line, that leader is coming straight off of the lure, so there's really no interference with that front hook and the leader, as opposed to, again, having a split ring on there or using a loop knot. Now, I actually prefer to use loop knots with lures like this, but if the hook is just getting fouled up way too much, I would just rather have a snug knot on there so I don't have to deal with the hook getting fouled up, and I can just adjust my retrieve to make that lure work the way I want to. Not really necessary to always use a loop knot, especially if it keeps getting in the way. So again, just a few tips there to help keep your front hook from getting snagged up on your leader line. I know it can be very frustrating. It will affect the action of your lure when you're doing that, and it just doesn't feel right. You can't properly feel the lure as you're retrieving it when that front hook is snagged up. So if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Also, if you have any additional tips that you'd like to share to keep that front hook from getting fouled up on your leader line, definitely let us know in the comments down below.
If you are new to Salt Strong, we are the largest online fishing club for saltwater anglers, and we guarantee you two things. Number one, you'll start catching more fish in less time. And number two, you will save a ton of money on your favorite tackle and gear with discounts available exclusively for our members. To learn more, go to saltstrong.com and we'll see you there.
There's something about the water that'll give you peace, all by yourself or with your family. Live Salt Strong and wear the line today.